Yay, I'm live, which means you don't have to be a medium to see the show, but it helps. But if you're not a medium and you want to be, you might be to the right place too, because it can happen for you too if you really want it to. Uh, Psychic gifts are not just for a few. We're really all supposed to have them, and that's one of the things I'm doing here. Is nobody who wants to come along should be left behind. This is not to aggrandize a few, but to empower people. That's what we should be doing, is empowering people when we do these shows. So I am committed to trying to get anybody who has a heart for it moving on in their studies. And I do want to say that I am Deocean of Deocean's Deep Woo. And here we do the deepest of woo. And I'm a shamanic practitioner, so I come from that angle. It is what uh, a lot of people will call what is colloquially called woo magic, but it's actually also quantum science and spirituality and magic are really all part of the same thing. It's consciousness in action. And so really, I'm halfway thinking of changing the name to Quantum Woo, but Deep Woo is good too, because we do the deepest woo here. We get very deep. I mean, I go into deep subjects and really stuff that I don't think very many people talk about. It's yeah, hard to find people who really want to talk about some of this stuff, especially from a personal viewpoint. And some of it sounds pretty nuts unless you've experienced it. But once you've experienced it, then you want info. It's like anything else. You don't, maybe UFOs have no interest in them. You don't care. It's not your thing, but you see one UFO and it's like, you know, you have one sighting or one incident of some kind, or maybe you see it, think you saw a Bigfoot. I think I saw a Bigfoot. Oh my God. You want you you want more info. You you're having things happen around your place. You want more info. You had things you always wondered about. Why did that happen? How did that happen? How could that happen? You want more info. Okay. So, and really, a lot of places can be very confusing. Uh, I think, for instance, this is not some things that I don't do here. I don't do high ritual magic. I just don't. It's too much for me. I know how. I I could, but it's just not too picky. You have to be too picky for my taste. I'm more of a natural girl. I prefer the shamanic way. I like to work with nature. I like to be spontaneous. I don't want to have to plan it too much. I want to just let the energy flow through me, just work through me. So I don't really do very much ritual type magic. really hardly anything like that. I I just don't and I have in the past learned things about that and um you know there's like I said, I have said it on this show before. Some of these if you do them wrong, it you know, really bad stuff can happen. I'd rather have ways that are a little bit more gentle so that and make sure that whatever happens in a more organic way. That's just my opinion. That's my way of doing things. Okay, and this is not Harry Potter stuff. Yes, I'll show you how to use a magic wand if you like. I'll show you how to use crystals. There are a few things that are like incantations. As a matter of fact, the clearings are incantation-like, but it's really, not my thing to memorize a whole bunch of incantations. It just seems like a little too not spontaneous enough for me. It has to be more spontaneous than that. So, and I guess it's probably part of my nature. I happen to be a fire sign. And we just had Moon in Sag, my sign. And I always do feel a bit better around Moon in Sag. So I'm feeling pretty good. If it's Moon is in Capricorn, by the way, tonight, we're getting ready for a day when we celebrate Irish stuff. Celebrate Irish stuff. I look at it not as a day when somebody drove all the snakes out of Ireland. Okay, you can celebrate that if you want to celebrate that. I certainly not my thing. However, I can embrace the celebration as a celebration of Ireland, Irish things, Irish people, Irish magic, Irish woo. That I can do. And that is the way that I generally do St. Patrick's Day. Is I celebrate the woo of it, not the religion stuff. It's just not my thing either. And that's another thing. This is not a religion. Not really. It's more of a spirituality. Although shamanic is listed as religion, that's because it's spiritual. It's really, it's the only thing I've found that's open enough for me. Okay, that there's not so much dogma attached to it that I feel kind of choked. So that's another thing about it is if you're shamanic, you work in a more natural way. You're more into working with the spirit of things, the spirit of the sun, the spirit of the um, animals, the spirit of the rocks and nature and elements and whatever. That's more of a spirit thing. So that's what we do. That's what I'm going to be doing here. And pretty regularly, we're going to have clearings because it's like we have so much junk accumulated from lives and lives and lives, you know, and just the way things are here, we have a lot of accumulated junk to clear. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm doing a lot of clearings and healings and um, things that are more energy work type stuff, is because we're really more, I'm more of an energetic type uh, magic user. Um, kind of get to know the energies on a personal level. So, and it's nice too, because I find that if you are making friends with nature, instead of trying to command something, it's just the nature will usually just love you back, and do things out of its way to try to please you. It's just like if you build up a friendship with anything, anybody. If you build a nice friendship where you're sending love and you're and you then if you love somebody, you just want them to be happy, and you'll you'll do things to make them happy. And I find that the elementals are that way, and really nature is that way. As I send love to the sun, the earth, and everything else, and even the ETs, you know, um, and, our fellow humans, it sends love back. Uh, there are very few things that don't respond. As a matter of fact, I haven't found very much that doesn't respond that way. So and this is also maybe some good advice if you're having trouble. Love really is a power. I mean, being able to feel that love is something that, remember, not everybody else can do. Not everybody can do it. So it's one of our special things that we can do. And um, like, for instance, very hard for a psychopath to do that. And I sometimes think that's another reason why you do what you can do. Like, I can just love things, and and things want to help me and do what I want. A lot of times, that's all I really have to do. And I think maybe some people are not adept at that, and then if you're not adept at that, then you would need something more, maybe based on words or based on something else. For me, it's just so liberating because I started looking into that, and what I was finding is things like spells and, you know, very wordy things and things that you had to have, ingredients you had to have, and, you know, which does work. I mean, candle magic works, but you need special candles, and you need to do special things with the candles and at, certain times. And so I did that for a while. I showed my ex how to do it, and he got pretty good. And he went on to other stuff too. But, you know, when I realized that I didn't have to do it that way, you know, these are just ways people have created for themselves. Sigil work is like that. Sigil work, making a sigil, uh, is kind of like that. But a lot of these, that there again, you know, that's um, people make these things for themselves in order to have something, kind of a physical focus. Well, just about everything that requires a physical focus. I mean, pendulum is like one of the absolute simplest tools. And yet you can do quite a lot with a pendulum, right? So, you know, who have we got? Hello, Michelle Canham Free, and how is Nathan? I remembered this time. Hi, honey. Um, so basically, one of the things that happens in magic is we find that we want to make things, tools, um, maybe symbols, use stuff like that to give us a kind of a shorthand. Hey, Gemini, how you doing? How you doing, Jumpin' Gemini? Um, and Lady Spellbreaker Oracle Queen 13. Wow. Well, that's quite a title, Lady Spellbreaker Oracle Queen 13. That's quite a title. How you doing? So let's see. What was I talking about? Oh, yes. So we make ourselves tools. We make ourselves focuses. The thing is if you're receiving messages all the time, you're trying to pick something out in particular out. It's kind of like sometimes you're receiving a little too much information to pick any one thing out. Having a tool as a focus is a nice thing. You know, like a pendulum, like the cards, like astrology. Why does it work? My theory on why it works is a quantum theory. It's basically the microcosm, the macrocosm. It's all a hollow fractal of each other, right? So you're looking at a very big pattern or a very small pattern. You know, a very big pattern is astrology. A very small pattern is maybe cards. But it's going to be the same pattern because you're in the same pattern. It's hollow fractal, just like a fractal that you see. You've seen fractals printed out. You've even seen moving ones where they butt off of each other. You've got something that looks like many, many things, but it's all really one thing. Well, that's really what the quantum field is. It looks like many things, but it's really one thing. Okay, who came in? Mary Wins. Hi, Mary Wins. How are you doing? So if you're looking at any part of a pattern, you're actually seeing other parts of the pattern too, and that's what hollow fractal is. It's like a hologram. Any part of a hologram looks like the rest of the hologram. A fractal, you look at a part of a fractal, you know, you take a piece of a fractal, it looks like the bigger piece of the fractal or the smaller one. So that's what's happening there. I mean, it isn't. Now that we have the vernacular to talk about it, and we can say quantum, and we can start to say, we have words like fractal, we have words like hologram. Now we can start to really describe what's going on. So really, even though there are all these timelines, and I know last time I was talking about different timelines, and we've had discussions about how you can shift yourself to different timelines. Why can you do that? Well, because they're really all connected anyway. Okay? That's another thing, is they're really all connected. Some of them are um, a little bit farther away from each other, I guess, so to speak. That's not really actually true, but how could I say it? If you've got iterations of a fractal, then you know that this one over here and that one over there are different, going to be slightly different, because every time it buds off, the next bud is going to be almost exactly like, but slightly different. And after a while, the pattern changes slightly, but so slightly you can't tell. But if you jump on way on down or way on back, you're going to see a bigger shift. And also, it goes out in all directions, so to speak. This is the only way I know how to describe this. So I hope that, and I'm trying to think of what I'm seeing, and I'm trying to kind of beam out what I'm seeing while I'm talking about this stuff. So maybe you can catch the energy of it. Maybe you can kind of catch it in your mind, get the mind speak thing going, and catch what I see when I look at this. When I look at the holofractal pattern, holofractal matrix pattern. Okay. Right. Heather Don is here somewhere. Oh, it's one of you guys. Okay. That's cool. Yes, which makes all one. Yes. So really, everything that exists is really part of one thing. However, it's going to look different, just like little parts of the fractal look different. But when you really look at the pattern's the same. It's very, very simple. Well, not exactly. And it's funny because it's not exactly, but it's very similar. So that is the closest. Yeah. And fortunately, that's the closest thing we've got to being able to explain this. And some stories, some ancient stories. If you guys are interested, I might look into grabbing some of the Hindu information on this, because they have the oldest history on all of these things that existed and how life exists, and what the nature and the structure of the universe really is like. Because they are not afraid to talk about what they're calling the gods are actually beings. Okay. And I think calling them gods puts an impediment in our way. Although they had powers, all of these powers and abilities and everything, the more you read about them, the more you can see that they were people, advanced people, very advanced people, but they were people. They still are people. Eternal beings don't die, so they're still around. Some of these beings we talk about, like, well, they were this and they were that. For all we know, they could still be around. They could still be listening. You know, you'll be listening to this broadcast right now, you know. And I'm sure that some of them are. I'm sure that a lot of them are, actually. I guess we're pretty interesting beings, strangely enough. And although sometimes I wonder how that can be, I actually have to remind myself sometimes, because I go on and I get ready to go on and I'm like, I have no idea. I have to prepare myself, have to prepare for it in various ways, but I have no idea what I'm going to say. The way I work, it just doesn't work for me to try and have everything scripted. Now I can do that, but If I try to stay too close to a script, I miss opportunities that just show up spontaneously. And I don't know why sometimes I fight with myself about this, but I think to myself, do I have anything important to say? And my guides will be there like, excuse me? Excuse me? What? We're going to be talking. We're going to put out some energy, some information. What do you mean? What are you talking about, girl? Get in there and do that. Get on that doggone machine and do this. Come on. It's almost this feeling of, are you kidding me? So yeah, what is really most important right now is sort of how would I put it? Yeah, definitely empowerment, because so many things are happening right now to make people feel disempowered. So if I can help people become empowered, self-empowered, then that's important. Okay. And I am to not worry about that. And just, don't worry about how many people, don't worry about the numbers you're reaching, don't worry about all that stuff. Put the information out. It'll touch who it needs to touch. You're doing what you're doing for a reason. I don't always even understand what the reasons are that I'm bringing certain things up, but usually I end up finding out later that somebody needed that, or everybody needed that. So, that's the way I have to work. I'm a spontaneous person. Once again, that's probably because I'm a fire sign. I'm a double fire. I'm Sagittarius and Aries. So my third one, the moon, is Cancer, which makes me a lot more emotional and psychic and wooey, and also can be very emotional at times. And the conjunction with Saturn gives me a little bit of the Capricornian energy, which makes me more solid. I say that I'm a Sagittarius light. I'm 1/3 less frivolous than most Sages. I'm a little more serious. I'm a little more grounded. I'm a little more earthy than most Sages. I rely just a little bit less on my luck than most Sages. But oh, hi Jackie, how are you doing? So that's the way that is. Okay, it looks like people are still filing in, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put on the intro, and we're going to let a few more people come in, then I'm going to really get into the meat of this. By the way, remember that this is just tips, tricks, and hacks for playing that massively multiplayer holofractal VR total immersion learning game called Life on Planet Earth. It has nothing to do with real life, which takes place outside the Matrix. Okay? So, now that we've covered those bases, I'll get right back with you after the intro. Okay, so one of the things I want to tell you, if you don't already know, when I say that there are fractals of you, and that you and I are fractals of each other, and we're closer than most of our fractals if we have the same interests. Um, after my bit that I was talking about in the front there, maybe that explains a little bit more what I mean by that. And we have other fractals that aren't even on this planet, not even really from here, and some of them that are from here, but they're different species. We have, well, everything is a fractal, but some of them are much closer to us. Um, and when we talk about soul groups, I'll talk a little bit about what a soul group is. As we make iterations, bud off iterations, and by the way, this budding process is very easy to see in nature, extremely easy. That's the way most things grow. Even making a baby is a kind of a budding off process. Right? Okay, so, oh, geez, I must need so much air to do this because that's what a yawn is. It's your body saying, I need more oxygen. I need more oxygen for whatever it is you're doing. I'm going to have to do some breathing stuff, you guys. Let's get some breathing stuff going. Yeah. Well, let's get our breathing stuff going so that we can start to do that. Then I'll talk more. Breathe. Well, sometimes I talk a whole lot and I just maybe I'm not breathing enough. Okay. So let's do our ohms first. It vibrates so pretty. And it's people go, oh, we're doing ohms. It's like, darling, if you're doing them right, if you're doing your ohming right, it feels so good. It tingles your body and, makes your body feel like it's being massaged. It's like, how can you not like ohming? How can you not like the 3 ohming? But I haven't had anybody really complain of it in a long time. Maybe that part's over. It's like if that doesn't feel good to you, gee, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you, but the vibration ohm, you will notice that home, if you the unaspirated H, ohm, um, ohm is home. The ohm is home. Really. So the ohm puts you in your home is another way to think about it. It's kind of corny. Yeah, that's what I got to do. I got to do the breathing stuff. That's really telling me to do that. Okay, and this is what I mean by being really spontaneous and paying attention to my messages. Because otherwise, I can miss things if I'm not careful. Okay, so get ready for oming. It's always good to have a nice straight spine when we do these things because we're going to do some, we're going to align the chakras and do things like that. I show you how to align your chakras yourself so that you don't have to go to somebody else to align your chakras unless they just won't go into place. Then you might need some help. But most of the time, we can get everybody aligned pretty easy. Okay, so let's do the ohming stuff. And breathe in and get ready and woo. And then just feel that one thing that I learned. Wow. And this is part of feeling the energy. It's feel what that does to you. Feel the feeling that that vibration gave you. It's a beautiful thing. If you sit and listen to music, you sit and listen to all this vibration, all this good music, your favorite music. Take a moment after a song and just notice how it made you feel. And that's what music is for, and that's what it does. Okay. And we're going to do the consonants because remember, spelling is spelling. And the consonants are, the vowels. What did I say? Consonants are different. The vowels, see, the consonants are for cutting off, actually. This is something I didn't know for a long time. Vowels are for moving. We make jokes about, I remember that we were doing vowels in one of my, over at one of my teachers' houses. I think it was Jody, but, and she was having us do the vowels, and she was talking about the importance of the vowels, how they were really very magical, and and she says, and now we're having this movement towards understanding things like that more. And I said, does that mean we're having a good vowel movement? And she just now in some people's classes, oh, I'm so glad I'm not a high ritual magic user because I could have gotten in trouble for that. But she just laughed and she said, yeah, sure seems like it, right? and being that she also had a PhD in things like nutrition and stuff, she said, actually, that would be very good for you, wouldn't it? Get rid of some of your shit, energetic shit, right? To put it very bluntly. It's hi Patricia V. I've got the music in me. You know what? That's one of my favorite songs. I used to do that at karaoke all the time when I'd go to karaoke. I used to do that. It was, and everybody'd be so surprised because they do have that at karaoke, and it's like, I do what? Where? Huh? What? Because I can really do that song. I really can do that song, and people are just like blown away. It's like, whoa, ain't got no trouble in my life, and it's like, this older lady comes on the stage, and what is she going to do? Hey, God, So, and people are just like, whoa. And there's a lot of power in that song, actually. There is. I do have the music in me. So do you, obviously. Yeah. Now see, I couldn't do, so I don't want to be responsible for high ritual magic. I'm too much like that. I'd get myself in too much trouble. I I make jokes too much out of things, and I just find too many things funny. And, I mean, I've had times when I've been at some ceremonies and I have had to fight fight so hard not to say, not to do the wrong, not to have the wrong thought in my head. It's like, oops, oh shit, I shouldn't have thought of that. But I'm can't laugh, don't laugh, don't laugh. It's like, oh geez, that was hard. Um, so I opted for shamanism. It's easier for me. You're allowed to be a little weird, you're allowed to be kind of goofy and funny. In fact, the contrary clowns, they were required to be that way. It was a requirement. So, yeah, and they were considered the high shaman. And sometimes they really were high too, pretty high. A lot of times that was the truth. So, um, but really, it's getting outside of the box of your mind, the cage of your mind. I mean, there has been cages put around our minds and around our psyches that we just got to get rid of. We got to get out. And the thing is there are ways out. I see me when I see you. Yeah, isn't that beautiful? Yeah, that's why even when I'm pissed at somebody, I have somebody around here that's pissing me off right now. I have to sit here and figure out what it is, why I know that people who are not, for one thing, evil things absolutely hate me. I mean, I walk in, they'll hate me on the spot, you know, if they've got some kind of an attachment or something. But I think there's something more because there's this woman who apparently, and she's done this to other people, we have a potluck or something. If you, she's very aware of what you do with her food that she brought. She watches you like a hawk. Did you eat too much? Did you throw some of it away? You don't do that stuff to her food. You know, really weird, and I'm like, and kind of a mean girl type. I'm like, okay, what is this trying to show me? I haven't figured it all entirely out yet. Maybe I have some part of me that's still like that, or you know, um, something that's triggering. It's kind of hard to look at sometimes. It's kind of hard to look at that, and because you want to just backhand it, you know. I've learned this is not a good idea. You don't just, it once you get magical, you better watch what you do with that. I mean, someday you're going to feel it. Okay. So, yeah, I'm there like, geez, I wouldn't be able to see that if I didn't have that in me, though, somewhere. Something like that. So what is this reflecting to me? You can only see what you have That vibration of, do I have something lingering in my iceberg? So anytime you encounter something like that, you have to stop and remember you have to have even, something very evil. What do I still have hidden in my iceberg that is attracting that has made that show up? You know? Um, and it can be some even past life thing, where there are times when I was like that because we were because we were starving or something. I don't know. Um, so, and when you realize and you talk about this oneness stuff and you talk about this holofractal thing, you have to accept that. And it's very hard. Sometimes it's like the things I see, it's like that has to be, I would not see that, not be able to see that if that vibration were not in my range. So this is why we're doing the clearings. This is why we're doing the energy work, is so that we can get out of these cages. And that's what I would like for you, because doggone, you're all fractals of me. And you all seem to be ready to do that. You're so eager and ready to go, aren't you? Jump out of your doggone cages, aren't you? Get rid of these damn cages. Get rid of your damn, all of that stuff under there in that iceberg so that you can be free. I know you are. That's why you're here, right? Good. Yeah. So, and really, you get to a point where there's a lot of things you don't see anymore. Gee, I haven't seen that in a long time. Occasionally it'll pop up again, it's somehow you've hit another layer or something, but there's a lot of things I just don't see anymore. And I'm glad I'm out of it. So I'm out of that cage. Maybe I'm helping others. Maybe I'm seeing it because I need to help others to get out of their cage. I don't know. A lot of times I think maybe that's what it is too, is being able to see that helps people out of their cage. This is because I need to help you out too, because I was there, and we all spend some time there. I don't think anybody goes through life without that sort of thing happening, you know. But I went through a lot of it when I was younger. My God, I had a lot of stuff that was like Groundhog Day, you know. It seemed like somebody was always mistaking me for somebody else. That was hard to get out of. That was a hard one because I couldn't figure out what the hell. How am I supposed to get out of that one? But you got to be Houdini every single time, You got to be Chris Angel, get out of them cuffs every single time, get out of those chains, get out of that cage. Of course, I've seen some of the stuff that Chris Angel uses. I actually met Chris Angel and saw how he did some of his magic, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but a lot of it is illusion, definitely illusion. And there was some magic to him too, though. And it's like that with a lot of those guys. There is some real magic, but a lot of illusion. So, but the world is illusion, so, uh, so yeah, I met a lot of famous people. I'm not saying that to name drop, but I'm saying it because I've had some experiences, and uh, just their lives are not what we think most of the time. David's life, David Bowie who's really, his name was really David Jones. But now here's a guy who became much, much bigger than David Jones. Okay? Because there was another guy, he couldn't call himself his real name. because there was another guy named Davy Jones in the Monkees at that time. It was a real big deal. And so David Bowie couldn't call himself David Jones. So he said, okay, I got to come up with another name. And he thought of Mick Jagger, oh yeah, Jagger, something like that, something catchy like that, something catchy and kind of violent, because that was kind of dangerous sounding, And so he came up with Bowie like a Bowie night. And so he transformed into David Bowie. And so, you know, uh, life, and that took him down a whole different path than if he would have tried to stay David Jones, right? And when I finally accepted the name Ocean, that took me down a whole different path than if I would have stayed my old name. Ocean is actually a name that other people gave me. Okay. They started calling me Ocean. And it took me a while to accept that, take that one on board. But it's given me so much through the years, as a name. So, oh, this is an illusion. Well, everything is an illusion. The only thing that really exists is consciousness, energy. If it weren't for the illusion, I guess we'd be really freaking bored. We create, even at the highest levels, we still create stuff. We're less in the dark the higher up we go about what's really going on. But I think probably until you get all the way back to source completely, you're probably still creating stuff so that you can have experiences. Why do we do all this in the first place? If we are really limitless and all that, to have experiences. I wonder what I can do next. What can I experience next? If you were a limitless being, what would you do with yourself? Quite a question, huh? So, yeah, we project our creations, yes. And this is something that I've noticed too, is we project, how can I say this? I can usually tell what other people are doing to me or what they do by what they accuse me of, So, yeah, it's like that's almost always the case. What are they accusing me of? That I'm not doing anything and they're just upset because I'm doing something. Okay, it's something they're doing. It's somehow I'm a mirror for a lot of people. And I don't even know it. So yeah, that's another thing is when you hit that point, you might find yourself hitting that point too. When you're actually, people are looking at you and they're seeing a mirror of themselves. They are projecting onto you because they're seeing themselves. Somehow, there are some people. That's why you got to be careful too, is when you use the mirror shield, you can actually fall into that where people are seeing mirrors of themselves and they find you a threat because they're threatening. We forget about that. So, okay, let's do our breathing because that'll help too. Let's do get ourselves nice and oxygenated. There's also good mirrors. Yes, there are funhouse mirrors. Okay. And there are also good mirrors, but yeah, somehow I'm not exactly sure why. Some people are like that, but some people just bring things out, and they'll just. So if somebody's throwing a whole bunch of stuff at you and you have no idea why, and they don't really have any call to do that, it could be that you are somehow being a mirror for them, and they're basically fighting with their own. If you see a dog or a cat growling or fighting with their reflection, that's what's happening. Something or other you're showing them about, and it could be that you're just the opposite too. That's another thing. That person's just the opposite of me. I hate them. You know, I would kind of like to be like them, but I hate them. You know, that can happen. People can hate you because you have some attribute they'd love to have and they think they can't have. Man, I used to hear that a lot. Yeah, that's another one. So, once again, it's about us. 7.0 just hit Japan. What, a quake? Whoa, Michelle. Ay, that's not small. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Angels, we need a little extra energy over there in Japan. Hope everybody's got their surfboard handy. Um, yeah, there are a lot of areas of the world that are very unstable right now. In some cases, physically very unstable. And I'm glad I don't live there. Well, it's enough that I live in Ohio where all this is going on right now. We have so much going on in Ohio. We have so much going on all over the world. I told you this spring was going to be like that. I said it. Here it is. It's going to be a wild, wild spring. Absolutely. Whoa. Okay. We'll send some healing to Japan. They're probably going to need it. Mm. Boy, so much happens to Japan. If you think about it, really a lot of stuff has happened to Japan. There must be some stuff going on energetically in Japan and with the land because they just have so much stuff happen to them. And I think part of it is they had a nature religion and they're not honoring it like they used to, although they honor it more than some people. But if you have nature spirits that are used to being honored and talked to and paid attention to, and then you don't, they get upset after a while. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there's going to be a whole lot of shaking. We've even had some, I guess we've had some quakes in Ohio, mostly southern Ohio. I haven't felt much up here, but the fault line only extends just barely into Ohio and doesn't come all the way up where I am in Northeast. That's one of the reasons I like staying here. It's fairly stable. And I know we're going to have a lot of changes and there's going to be a lot of shakeups, but I happen to be in an area where there's not going to be a whole lot of shaking, although we get it once in a while. We actually have had some of that here. So, wow. Yeah, that's a big one. Wow. Okay. We'll do a little bit more with this later, too. I have a couple of clearings I can run, which might help too. Have a little energy work I could send that way. Thanks for letting me know. We need to do some energy work for Ohio too, because we're just getting hit all around. And we're working on that. Paul and I are putting together something for Ohio. We just haven't set a date for it yet. Probably going to be a Sunday, though, when we're going to do a healing for Ohio. And I would appreciate anybody who can come along and help. And it will also show you how to do this kind of thing, how this sort of thing is done. He's got a special technique that I think you'll find very interesting. California too, absolutely. Right, just remind me. Let's get our breathing exercise. Let's get powered up, okay? Let's get powered up, everybody. I'll count for you. Remember, it's 4 in, 6 out, okay? Breathe in 4, breathe out to a count of 6. I don't know. I'm going to try and get it this Sunday, but I'm not sure. It depends on Paul's schedule. His schedule is variable. He does other stuff too. So I'm going to try and get him for this Sunday, but I'm not sure. I will see. Yeah. Okay. Let's do our breathing and power up. Let's get ourselves in balance. You will be more able to help everybody if you're in balance. Okay. Put the oxygen mask on your own face, then run around helping everybody else. Otherwise, you won't be able to. You don't put the oxygen mask on your own face, you won't be able to help all those other people, right? So power yourself up. Let's do it. I'm going to count. Okay. In count to 4. Okay, let me get breathed because I'm going to be counting. I'm not going to be breathing with y'all, so hang on. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. 1, 2, 3. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. 1, 2, 3. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. 1, 2, 3. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. 1, 2, 3. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. 1, 2, 3. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now we're going to have a good vowel movement. Okay, you ready? You ready to do the vowels? Don't scare anybody. I understand if some of you can't do them very loud and you kind of have to do them if you can't, or if you can't do them right now or something, you can always play it back. But the vowels are, like I said, magical. So let's do our vowels. Let's do our, you got to think about this. Think about what vowel is. Vowel. Vow. What is it? A promise. L. To a god. L. God. Yeah. So, the Elohim gods. God. So vowels were considered moving for to move things. So let's get moving. Let's get energized. Let's get moving. Okay. Um, let's do the vowels. I'm sorry, but that's so funny in a way. And you know, mine speak is easy, but so okay, and you all know the vowels, so just intone them, vibrate them as you can. If you can't, I understand you can do it later. But if you can, it's good. I'm going to do them. You can do them with me. Okay. Now just breathe a little bit. Feel how different you feel. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Hell. Cool. Yes. Have to move them. Make L. Oh, okay. Michelle, my belle. Yeah. Yeah, belle. Which means beautiful. Michelle, my belle. Um, and L. Yeah. L is another way in another language of saying divine. And L, I mean, it's in Spanish. They made all the men divine, right? Men are all divine. Women aren't, but men are all divine, right? We won't talk about that. L, whatever, L this, L that, whatever. They just made that a male, you know. But anyway, yeah, Bella. Bella. Bellamy, my beautiful friend. Really, Michelle Cannon-Free? Well, that's wonderful. And I think that may be why they chose it in the vampire series too. Is Bella means beautiful. I think that was actually a um, hmm. Okay. Who's got dry mouth out there? Good time to go get yourself a drink of water or something, or tea or something, because this might be partly mine, but I feel like it's partly one of yours, maybe several of yours. Purified fridge water. Yum, yum. Oh, that's so much better. Please, especially these days, find some way to get a hold of purified water. Don't drink tap water, please. If you're trying to get well, if you're trying to change things, if you're trying to do your magic stuff, get your somehow get yourself some pure water. I know they're trying to make it harder, but you need shungite water. Yeah, I make that sometimes, yeah. Shungite water. I have some lying around. I put I put some in the regular water. Charged water, that's another thing we'll be talking about, the charged water. I found something cool, by the way, you guys, if you ever want it, I'll tell you where you can get one. I gotta remember where I got mine though. Was it Temu, or maybe it was, but you can get them. You can get them off of Amazon. You can get them some places. I guess you could probably pick them up at a health food place or something, or some kind of a metaphysical shop. I found a charging water bottle, a stone charging water bottle. I'm getting an amethyst one. So I'm getting an amethyst one. And so I'm very soon going to have an amethyst water charging bottle, and I'll show it to you when I get it. That's going to be cool. Gradually, I'm going to get one in each stone that they have available. And then there are also some that have a special little compartment in them where it doesn't actually touch the stone, but it holds the stones underneath the water so that the energy can radiate. And there's some like that too, that you can get so that you can put things in other than what they're offering. So these things are available now because I know people are using them. They're doing that. Um, oh yeah. Well, the whole idea though is you're having the stones charge the water. It's kind of like putting "I love you" on the bottle, you know. Having the stones near the water is putting the charge of that stone into the water, the pattern of that stone into the water, that mineral. That's what I'm talking about. Of course, you can charge them with whatever you want to charge your water with. So that's what I'm talking about. The the charging bottles are really cool though. I know it you can do it other ways, but it's pretty cool. It's really pretty cool. I'm going to have a bottle. Literally, I'm going to have a bottle to take with me. It's going to be charging my water all the time that it's in there. It's going to be a hunk of amethyst in there on amethyst point. And so every time I fill up that bottle, that amethyst is going to be busy charging and I am going to do a ceremony for that amethyst. It's going to be charging my water every time. So that's going to be pretty cool. I'll show it to you. Yeah, those of you who don't know, I think most people do by now, but there's some stones you cannot put in water. You'll dissolve them, or stuff will come off and they're toxic if ingested. You don't want to ingest them. But if you want the energy, like selenite, never put selenite in water. Don't do that. Okay, selenite is one of the things you don't want to put in water. Some things are okay, some things are not. Most of the volcanic glass, it's glass. Like, most of the glassy stuff, like obsidian and quartzy stuff like amethyst and rose quartz and stuff like that, smoky quartz and all that. Yeah, that is not going to poison you. However, there are some stones that, if dissolved, are not good for you. So be very careful when you are charging water that way, which is why, like I said, there's another type that I'm also going to get that has a compartment in it that can hold the stone you want to charge the water with, so that it's in near proximity, but it's not actually touching or immersed in the water. Okay. So yeah, shungite is one of the safe things you can put. It's okay to put in water. It's not going to dissolve. So, anything that doesn't dissolve, usually that's okay. But if there's something that dissolves, you really do want to be careful about that. Okay, remember, salt, like Himalayan pink salt, is a mineral. If you dissolve Himalayan pink salt in water, you are charging the water with all the lovely minerals in Himalayan pink salt. So it is recommended, if you can get, wherever you get Himalayan pink salt, recommended to have a little bit every day. It has trace minerals in it that you really need. So I would recommend Himalayan pink salt, and you don't need much. Trace minerals, you don't need much of a trace mineral. That's why they call it a trace. So I can get now, this is great. I manifested this. I can get pink Himalayan salt for $1.25 at the Dollar Tree. A bag of pink Himalayan salt. It's about a pound, I think, something like that. It's not a lot of salt, but I don't need a lot. I mean, so yeah, it's really great. So, and here's a drink that's supposed to be really, really, really good for you. And I've been having it, and yeah, I think it is helping me. As a matter of fact, I haven't had it yet tonight. And I'm going to have to make me up some real quick. But it's a combination of apple cider vinegar, lemon, and salt. Himalayan salt. And it's supposed to be really, really helpful. And you know what? I think it is helping me. I have felt pretty good since I've been doing it. I think it is really helping. So you might want to try that. You don't have to have a lot. You can dilute it as much as it takes for you to be able to get it down you. So you don't have to take it like a shot. As a matter of fact, not even recommended. You want to save your teeth. You can always drink it through it with a straw, because that is very acidic. That has some people are worried about their teeth. Well, you just drink it with a straw, but it's good in your body. Yeah, daily. It's a daily tonic. It's a daily sort of tonic, and it's supposed to really help. And it seems like it is. So so far, I think I can recommend it. And this is not just a metaphysical thing. This is regular doctors acknowledge this is good for you. You know, this is a good mixture. Okay. No, it doesn't taste that bad. Some people are like, vinegar, it's so sour. It doesn't taste that bad. Jeez, you know. You need about 8 ounces of water, pure water. It's really more important than ever, you guys. Pure water. Pure water. I'm telling you. Get yourself some way to purify water. Don't just rely on the stuff in bottles, okay? Because bottles can contain microplastics. Once the sun or something heats it up, you're going to have microplastics in that water in a plastic bottle. So try to keep your water in either plastics that aren't going to react. I have plastic bottles that I keep stuff in, water in, but they're so old that everything's leached out of them. You know, they're like really old juice bottles that I've rinsed a bunch of times and used for like, you know, I keep them and they're really old. And why do you keep these? Because all of the stuff's leached out of them. You know, I've put them through the ringer, and everything that could be leaching out of there has got out. So they're not harmful anymore. They're not dangerous anymore. That's why I don't get rid of the old plastic bottles, is because I've conditioned them the way that I want them to be. So now they are safe, fairly safe. Um, yeah, or if you freeze plastic water bottle, yeah, plastic, you gotta be careful with anything coming in plastic. There are some really good pitcher filters, filter pitchers, whatever. There are some good ones, but you got to look at them. You got to pick a good one, and it doesn't have to be horribly expensive. I found a good one for last one I bought was about $37, which ain't cheap, but it far more effective than a Brita. Okay, a whole different type of filter than a Brita. Brita's just charcoal. There's you need more. You need way more than that. Fluoride and all and bromide and all of this crap, and you want something that's going to take even more. I mean, they have found birth control pills, Xanax, and everything else in the freaking water supply. Okay, you don't want that in you. You don't want to be drinking tap water right now, especially not. I would drink pop because they purify the water very carefully in pop plants. I'd rather drink pop than drink um, a bottle of pop. I'd drink that before I would drink tap water, honestly. It would still be safer. Even though it's not really good for you, it'd still be safer, honestly, because they filter their water. And that's hard to explain to people. So, and the reason they filter their water carefully has nothing to do with like they care about us being well. Has more to do with quality control. They want to control the flavor of it every single time, so they filter their water carefully so that um, it will taste exactly the same every time. So actually, sometimes you're better off drinking something like that if you can't get. I hate to say it, if you can't get purified water. If you can get an RO filter, that's the best. Reverse osmosis is absolutely that. Distilling is good too, but it takes everything out. It really strips everything out. And RO does too, but you actually, with an RO filter, you have to add minerals back into the water. Water has minerals for a reason. If you have, if you're taking, so it doesn't strip the minerals out of you. If you're using distilled water, you might want to put a pinch of Himalayan salt in there just to give it back some minerals so it doesn't start stripping minerals. Okay. Because it can do that. Okay. That's physical. Let's align our chakras. You know how to do this. Get your back straight and just push your chakras to the back of your spine. Just push them back. Or pull them back if that feels right. And snap them onto your spine, straight onto your spine. And you can kind of feel when you hit it. Okay. Yeah, it feels different. I don't know how I would describe that, but it feels different. When you get it right, you'll feel different. Okay? And if for some reason you can't get them, just get them as good as you can and get them a little. You can work with getting them right on in line. And you want them aligned vertically and also horizontally. So it's like I always think of a snap to grid like effect, that I snap it right on my spine there, that it goes right on, you know. People don't realize too that that whole area is really a very tiny part of your, although it controls bigger areas of your body, it's actually a very small spot on your spine. Okay, that's better. Oh gosh, yeah, I needed that. Okay, now do the expansion, please. Let's do the expansion and just feel ourselves expanding out and expanding out. And uncrinkle yourself from trying to push yourself into your little Abby. Quit trying to fit yourself in there and just expand and realize that you only really need to touch your Abby, interface with it. You don't have to try and cram yourself into there. You're not going to ever fit. You're way too big. And let yourself know that. It really helps to know that you are that big. And just expand out beyond your house, beyond your state, beyond the country, beyond the earth, beyond the solar system. Keep it up until you're tired of expanding for now, and just leave it there. Leave yourself nice and expanded out. Make sure there aren't any wrinkles or creases. Nice and fluffy. Okay. And it's funny, I say that, make sure there's no wrinkles or creases, and somehow I do notice that it feels sometimes almost like there is here and there something very similar energetically to a crease sometimes. It's weird. I don't even know how to explain that either exactly. But I think a lot of people, once again, a lot of things we don't think of that we do that we don't think about. Like, you often try to use parts of yourself like your arms and legs. I mean, as if they were arms and legs. You know, we'll be doing stuff with our chakras. We do stuff with our chakras. And that's why my heart goes out to somebody. Bring your heart chakra back in here. Your heart can go out, but be sure to bring it back in. Yeah, your heart does go out to people, okay? But you need to bring it back in too. Okay. Okay. So we got the chakras. The next thing, we got the expansion. Okay. We're going to get our space. We're going to send our roots down, 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 down. Like a tree, you got a taproot, down, 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 far, 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 far down into the earth. And what you're looking for is a feeling of space when you finally break out into, when you're down far enough, you will feel space, that you have broken out into space. And once again, you will not feel as bound into. It's funny how we put ourselves in these cages. Okay, and this is where you get, it's like a taproot. You're getting nutrition, you're getting water, you're getting something. It's like that. You're getting nourished. You're part of the earth. Your Avi is part of the earth and it needs this. Okay? Hi, Sandra Heath. Yes, we're doing our tree. We're going to do our tree next, and we're going to send our branches up to the sun. We're going to send a tube right up there through our sun to the great central sun, get the nourishment from there. Yeah. All suns, all stars are gates. So our intention is to, oh gosh. Oh, when it starts coming back, I can always feel it. I hope you can too. When the energy starts flowing back, it's like, oh, tingly. And then let them both meet up right there in your solar plexus. And have a party. And then shoot them on up to each other. Shoot the earth energy up to star. Shoot the star energy down to the earth. Make a bridge and be that bridge. Be that bridge between the earth and the sky. Wow. And when you get sensitive enough to feel this, you'll really feel it. It will feel very different when you do this. When you feel that energy running through you both ways like that. In fact, today seems to be a really big day. I'm getting a really big dose. I might get a little airheaded. Maybe I'm, whoa, wow. Something's up. I feel way out there. I mean, I feel pretty high right now. I don't know what's going on, but they're sure feeding me a lot of energy here. Something's going on. We're getting ready for spring. That may be it. We're getting ready to spring the spring, right? All of that creation energy is coming in. All that new creation energy is flowing through. Wow, what a wonderful time. Wow, that feels good. Oh, it's such a relief. What we do trying to put ourselves into these abbeys all the time, it's just amazing. We get too much into our abbeys. You're supposed to be in your abbey. I mean, you're supposed to use it and, ground and be in your abbey, but you're not supposed to try and fit your whole being in there. You know, it's like to be grounded and expanded at once is a goal. Hmm. Okay. Sometimes, ooh, sometimes you do these exercises and you have to be careful when you try to walk. I am not kidding. Some of these, be careful trying to walk around. You may not be exactly aware of where your body's boundaries are. You might not be 100% aware of your abbey. You got to make sure that before you try to move your abbey around, that you're paying attention and in there and what they call grounded. But you do need to you do need to, this is energy we're supposed to have. We're supposed to be absorbing this all the time to get a recharge. Oh, wow, I feel so much better. Jeez. I'm glad that I'm doing this with you guys because it keeps me on track too. So I will forget sometimes to do this in a day. Wonder why I feel crappy. It's like because I haven't done this and I go, oh shit. Okay, so oh gosh, I feel better. Okay, moving on. Okay. From here we can do a lot. Can really do a lot. And I think I'll do some clearings. Let's chip away your iceberg a little bit. What seems to be the chief concern? The chief thing that is coming up today? What attitudes, opinions, and judgments? Now remember, when I do this, I'm calling up the energy. You don't really have to answer this. This is just going to bring up the energy about surrounding what I am asking about. That's all we're doing with this first question. The second question I ask you will be, are you willing to clear this? And if you are, we will proceed. I will say, are you willing to uncreate and destroy this? Okay. And if you are, just say or think or otherwise acquiesce, and we will do that. Okay. And if you don't want to do that, you don't have to participate in any of this. You just do it. So I'm going to ask, what attitudes, opinions, and judgments do I have? Do you have? We have. That the universe doesn't have our back and really doesn't have our best interests at heart. Wow, that's a heavy one. All right. I think we need to clear that. And then we need to reinstall a better program, an upgrade of that. Okay. And I'll do that. Okay. We'll do that. Okay, let's clear that. What attitudes, opinions, and judgments do we have that the universe doesn't really have our back or our best interests at heart? It's just going to leave us hanging, twisting in the wind or whatever. That's not true. That's not true. Okay. Would you be willing to uncreate and destroy that? Okay. Times a godzillion, times a godzillion. Good and bad, right and wrong, puck and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay. What's the next one coming up? Okay, kind of goes along with that. What attitudes, opinions, and judgments do I have that the universe doesn't really love me? Once again, I'm insignificant. Why should the universe love me? All right. And you know that's not true. You're not insignificant at all. You're extremely important. You're divine. You're part of the planet. You're part of the planet. You do count. So let's uncreate and destroy that. Are you ready? I now uncreate and destroy all that. Times godzillion, times godzillion. Good and bad, right and wrong, puck and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Now remember, if you need to get rid of something like that, need to rip that up, that bad code out, all you have to do, really, is say puck and pot. Or if you can't remember that, just say whatever it was that Ocean said, that. Because it's the intention that counts. And you will do some good there, okay? You don't have to be perfect, thank goodness. I do the kind of magic where you don't have to be perfect at it. You can actually, you don't have to be, spot on every time. You can, it's the intention that's going to push this, okay? Push the button. So get your intention clear. It'll work. It'll peel off a layer of it, okay? There'll be more layers come up. Don't worry, plenty of layers. But I always do at least 2 clearings. I try to do 2 clearings. Okay, let's see if there's a third one that's coming up that I need to get rid of. What attitudes, opinions, and judgments? Let me see. This one's a little more complex. What attitudes, opinions, and judgments do I have that my body, other people's bodies, nature cannot heal itself? That it needs something outside to do it, that we need something or someone, something else besides what we have in order to be whole. And that is so not true. We do have everything we need to be whole. We just need to accept it, to be able to accept it and make room for it. But nature heals itself. We were meant to be self-healing. We were meant to be self-healing in all ways and eternal. Even though our bodies in this realm at this time are temporal, we are meant to be self-healing. A cut heals by itself. Your autonomic nervous system functions by itself. So why couldn't healing just be automatic and effortless? And all that prevents that, and all that doesn't allow for that, would we be willing to uncreate and destroy? I am. I now uncreate and destroy all that. Times a godzillion, times a godzillion, good and bad, right, wrong, buck and pot, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. Whoa, it's a tough one. Okay, I now uncreate and destroy all that. Times a godzillion, good and bad, right and wrong, talking about all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. Whee! Yeah. Oh, Pharma really tries to push that one. You can't heal without us. You're going to be sick and you're going to need us and you're going to. It's like, no, you're only supposed to assist the healing. The body heals itself. We only assist nature to heal itself. We make the conditions right for the body to heal itself. That's what we do. The body's made to heal itself. Your energy systems are made to heal themselves. We only assist it to be a healthy environment or a healthy configuration that they can do that. That's what we're doing. Okay. So, okay, those three were actually pretty big. I think I may have to let that set a little bit. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to let that set a little bit because that last one was really heavy. That last one is so heavy. My God, that is so pushed by the pharmaceutical industry. You cannot get well on your own. Oh my gosh. Maybe I'll run it again. Okay, I'll run it again like that. What attitudes, opinions, and judgments do I have? You have, do we have? What attitudes, opinions, and judgments do I have? I can't get well without the pharmaceutical industry, that I must depend on the pharmaceutical industry and medicine, doctors and stuff, that I must. You don't must, you don't have to have something like that for a cut to heal, for Pete's sakes. And your immune system is meant to fight this stuff off. So we know this isn't accurate. Robert Lipton, a cellular biologist for years turned metaphysician, says it was very obvious to him. Put cells in a sick environment, they get sick. Put them in a well environment, they get healthy. Very simple. Very simple. So, putting ourselves in a healthy environment means cleaning out some of the junk. And this is what we're cleaning. Okay, what attitudes, opinions, and judgments do we have that we need, that we can't live without the pharmaceuticals? We can't heal. Our bodies won't heal themselves without that, without some kind of medical procedures, whatever, that we got to rely on something outside ourselves. Okay, this is not medical advice or anything. This is just getting rid of a block to you just being able to heal yourself, your body to just heal itself. So, which it should be able to do. Okay. So I now uncreate and destroy all of that, really. Attitudes, opinions, and judgments that we need. That we actually have to have that. It's very heavy. Wow, I now uncreate and destroy all that. Times a godzillion, good and bad, right and wrong, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Jeez! They've done a spell. Wow! Tell you right now, that felt like a spell. That felt like a freaking spell. Yes, it was a spell. You know what? I suspect, I have been suspecting that. Matter of fact, I think a few people have tried to bring that up, that it's actually a spell. Wow. Don't you believe it? Okay. Get done by a physician what you need done, get checked out and stuff like that. Do that stuff. But you are not a dependent on the pharma system. Okay? Your life does not depend on that. Wow. Yeah. It felt like I was getting resisted. Like something went ping, ping, wow. Yeah. I'm going to do it again. What attitudes, opinions, and judgments do we have that we're dependent on pharma? And oh, science. Gotta have science. Okay. No, we are not dependent. Okay. I now uncreate and destroy all that that brings up. Times a godzillion, good and bad, right and wrong, pock and pot, all natural. Okay. Phew. Geez. Okay. Well, that should help. Yeah. Let them do what they can do, but you're not dependent on them. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Your body can heal. Um, that is a very sad kind of energy there. Okay. We're going to move on from there. I hope this helped you feel better. The latest news around here is it looks like Norfolk Southern doesn't want to get, I mean, as far as local news, Norfolk Southern doesn't want to give people money, but they're probably going to have to. There's going to be lawsuits up the wazoo. And I think there should be. It is, however, Erin Brockovich did make it here to Ohio. She is involved now. They're hating it. The residents are happy, you know. She's on the case now. So just like we were saying, we need Erin Brockovich to get on it, and she did. She did. She's on it now. So stuff is going to move now with that, and I expect it to move. And I'm getting chills. And so what it's going to do, and what it is doing, is it's making people look at what is screwed up about our infrastructure right now. And people are beginning to say exactly what I was saying. Why the hell are we sending all of this money for somebody else's infrastructure when ours sucks. Okay? Billions of dollars for somebody else's infrastructure. We need that for our infrastructure. Don't tell me you don't have enough to let senior citizens have their money or give poor people their, what they need. Don't tell me all of that crap or that you have to foreclose the banks are going down. Some of these banks are finally going down and they needed to. They'll just foreclose. We have more homes, empty homes, than homeless people in this country. That's sick. There's something really wrong with that. So these things have to fall, and they are falling. So does that mean they're all going to fall? I don't know. Somehow I don't think so. Some people think the whole thing's going to. I don't know that that's true, though. I don't know. But be ready in any event. Oh, you're listening as you shop. Okay. Okay. That'll be interesting. I hope you have headphones or something. Well, either that or everybody in the store is probably going, what in the heck is this crazy woman doing? But okay, so wow. And it has been nearly 2 hours. So is there anything else that I wanted to do tonight to make sure that oh yes, we're coming up on St. Patty's Day. We're heading into spring. Very important that you get ready for a growth spurt. We're going to have a lot of energy coming in this month, a lot of great energy. I'm going to be talking about planting seeds for the future. And that is a type of magic too. So think about what you want to plant and get yourself some actual seeds. And we'll we'll plant our seeds for the future soon. We'll be doing that really soon for spring. By the way, at some point I'm going to have to show you my little fishies. I've got a couple of little I've been having trouble with, you know what? I've been having trouble keeping fish alive. I'm hearing that they're this guy was telling me, man, the store that I was getting them from, they really give them only beta fish come in about an inch of water. Some of them aren't even in water when they come in. So, they are not careful, and they end up with a lot of dead fish coming in. Some of the stuff coming in is, so some of them have problems coming in you don't even know when you take them home and you try to care for them. But fish are good to have, near your door. It's good to have a water feature, feng shui wise. So it's good to have a fountain or maybe a fish of some kind, a goldfish or a betta fish or something. And we'll talk a little bit about decorating your home in a magical way, putting things in your home for various purposes. Like I said, one of them is, having some kind of water feature near your entrance. And if you can, and having something like an aquarium is like building a community, sort of. That has a representation. If you can keep that in balance, you're balancing a happy home, a happy community. So there's stuff like that. It's sort of a like attracts like sort of magic. Okay. So basically, I'm keeping a couple of beta fish, but I have learned some things. I've had a couple die, and I've learned some things is that they really in this industry are not necessarily very careful about. Once again, about the pet industry needs revamping. Seriously, unfortunately, you really are better adopting an animal from a shelter or from somebody you know rather than going to somewhere where you have to buy an animal where they're breeding them. It's sad. They don't think of them as a being, they think of them as product. So I'm hoping my intentions can change that a bit too as time goes on. I would like to see that change. So, um, so yeah. So we'll be going into that. We'll be doing a healing ceremony for Ohio. If that goes well, we'll do one for the United States. If that goes well, we'll do other ones. Um, you know, we get enough people, start telling people that we're going to be doing that so that we can really get some momentum behind this. And, if you're interested in helping out with that spiritually, we'd be really happy to have the extra intentions. Because I have a feeling Ohio has ley lines going through it. Ohio is literally right at the heart of the nation. And I think that there is actually a spell being done by having Ohio in this area, the heartland attack. I think this is actually part of the dark spell, and we need to repel that. Um, so we need to break that. We need to get that out of there. Need to pry that code out of there and get back on an even kilter here. And this state has always been a little weird anyway. It takes a lot to keep Ohio in balance, so it must be one of those spots that has a lot to do with what's going on in the nation. And I just feel like, because if it is actually symbolically a heart, it's circulating to everywhere else. Everything's circulating through it. That may be one of the reasons why the heartland is so weird. I mean, it's funny that it is roughly the shape of a heart drawn on the map. It's weird that it ended up that way. So it's got to mean something. Although really, energy doesn't know state boundaries. But symbolically, it's got to mean something. So, and we know that symbolism's everything to these people. Okay. Some people where symbolism is everything. So, you gotta look at the symbols. So symbolically in the heartland, whatever's happening to the heartland is going to get pumped to every other part. And whatever is happening in every other part is going to come through the heartland too. It's going to affect the heart. Okay. Is there anything else? Okay. I really want to thank you guys for coming to my program, and caring enough to take care of yourself and take care of the planet and make yourself better, because you know what? Everything you do to better yourself, you're bettering the planet as well. You're bettering Earth. You will make the world better by making yourself better, by making yourself and the people around you better. You are making the world better. You are changing the world. So never think that's a small thing. remember, a lot of ones don't just add up, okay, to 1 plus 1. When we put our power together, when we put our energy together, it increases exponentially. So it's squared, and then it's just goes up. So it's more like 3 times 3, 4 times 4, 5 times 5, instead of just plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. Okay? That's why we're told, that 2 or more, and the more you have, the more it goes. That's how a small group of people can influence a large group. Okay? Can have a very large influence. Well, the bad people are doing it. The negative stuff is certainly taking advantage of that rule. We should too. Okay? So, thank you so much for coming to the show, and wonderful having you, wonderful being with you. Love your energy and your beautiful spirits and your beautiful hearts for coming here. And like I said, caring about yourself, caring about, you know, the earth and everybody else that you care for. And oh yes, we wanted to do special ceremony, a special little something here. How about this? Just see. Okay, what I'm seeing is beams of energy coming down on Japan and on California. Okay. Just seeing it hit by beams of light. Energy to get through this, to get through all of this. Healing energy. So that people can heal and be well in their heads, because I think a lot of people are crazy. Problem is, they're not well in their minds. They're not well in their psyches. Their psyches are damaged, or not exactly damaged, but kind of, let's just say, polluted. It may be a good way to say it. Their psyches have been polluted. That's why they're that way. That's why it looks like Clown World. They've been polluted. In some cases, they've been taken over. Oh, yes. I wanted to tell you, I found out something weird today. I have a suspicion. I want your opinion. You can leave me a comment or something if you think of anybody concerning anything concerning this. But we talk about NPCs, and I've explained what an NPC is. Non-player character, somebody that's not really in there. I mean, doesn't really have anybody in there. I think I have figured out something about that. Some of these people that are NPCs, they're the ones that have a near-death experience but didn't go anywhere. Very weird. Some people have, almost everybody that has a near-death experience goes somewhere, sees something, that's very common, very, very common. Could it be that the people who go nowhere and see nothing, that they're the NPCs because there's nothing to see because they don't go anywhere? I don't know. But that question arose because I mentioned something about this in front of a couple of people that are kind of shady characters, and they're just like, that's bullshit. I died and I didn't see anything. It's like, why would you not see anything? Or did they just not remember? Or some people just not go anywhere because NPCs? I don't know. I have to think about it now. I'm asking you what you think about it too. Okay, love you. Truth is where you find it. Hope you find some on my show. Love yourself, love others. Let them know when you love them. And let yourself know that you love you. Expect the universe to have your back. Expect that the universe, send it out. Send out the love. Let it come back. If you send out the love and it doesn't come back, well, you did your bit. But almost everything in the universe, the clouds, the stars, just about everything, the ground, whatever, the trees, everything that you send love to, usually you'll feel coming back. Our star brothers, and say, you sit out in the night sky and you see a constellation and you send love, you'll probably feel love coming right back. So, well, just like another guy said, love one another. Huh? Give it a shot anyway. And remember that you are divine. You are creators. You create. Nobody is more diviner than you. Doesn't work like that. You're either divine or you're not. And you are. So wear it, own it, be it. Okay. I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Yep. Oh, and remember, when in doubt, always never ask questions you don't really want the answer to. Always ask when in doubt, how does it get any better? Universe, show me, how does this get better? Dare the universe to show you that it can get better if you have to. Say, hey, how does this get any better? That's what you want to ask. That's the kind of question you want to ask. Okay, just a helpful tip and reminder, never ask it the other way. Never ask the other, the negative way. You can get shown, believe me, it'll show you 1,000 ways. Just something I found in my travels. Okay. Yep. Life is an echo or a boomerang or a mirror. Mm-hmm. Right. Absolutely, love. Okay. And I will see you Sunday. I will try to put out some word if it's this Sunday that we're doing that. I don't know that it's going to be, though, because I think this is a busy weekend for him. I'm guessing it's going to be Sunday. I could be wrong. Okay. I'm going to try and arrange things. And I'll see you Sunday around 10:10. And I might start doing some earlier shows, so keep your eyes open. Okay. Love. Night.